All right, we are live. This is Checkmate Flips, and we are still rocking the wide angle GoPro lens because it's much better than the camera I was using before. But it's good to see you guys today. We are going to be talking about why storefront stalking is dumb. So if you're here in the live, welcome. If you're watching on the replay, welcome. Grab some popcorn, maybe grab some duct tape and get to prepping some of the stuff that you guys need to prep, or come hang out in the chat and just relax. But today, storefront stalking. I feel like when I started online arbitrage, maybe around 2 years ago, storefront stalking was all the rage. That was like what people talked about. That was like the go-to thing that people talked about, how to actually find good leads. Like it was in all the YouTube videos, it was in all the guides, it was in all the Instagram posts. That was the way that it was basically taught to get into online arbitrage. And I think back then I don't know if it's actually was better then or if something changed. Maybe I need to think about that. I'm curious what you guys think. In the chat, has storefront stalking actually gotten worse in the last 2 years, or was it actually just not that good of a method back then? I'll probably come to a conclusion as I just keep verbally processing it. But we got some people in the chat. We got T Smoke just talking to you in the Discord group, by the way. He says, Hola. He's got his Hola. I'm obviously not. That's hilarious. Hola. He's got his popcorn in the chat. Speaking of the Discord group, we do have a free Discord group, and the link is down in the description. We were literally just talking, having kind of niche eBay to Amazon discussions in there. Actually, I think I might have a new tool belt for my tool for my tool belt because of that discussion today. So would love to have more of you guys in there as well. We got RW in the chat. Hello, Seth. Good to see you, RW. We got Andres. Yo, Seth, what's up? Good to see you, man. Welcome. So I'm curious what you guys think. Is storefront stalking actually dumb? And you can play it both ways. But I'm going to make the case today that it's not the best sourcing strategy. And honestly, I think I was talking to Andres about this a couple weeks ago. Like I probably do 1% storefront stalking. I really do not do much storefront stalking at all. And here's why. The best items that sellers are selling, you're not going to see in their storefront most of the time, at least, especially if you do eBay to Amazon, especially if you do online arbitrage. A lot of the times, like for example, for me, my best sellers sell out like that. I can never get enough stock of my best sellers. And so it's like, okay, if you come and storefront stock me or storefront stock somebody else or storefront stock your competition, there's a really good chance they're not even in stock on their best items. And so, yeah, when you storefront stock them, you're going to get a really good gauge for like what types of items they're selling, maybe what brands they're selling, maybe potentially how they're sourcing it. You can definitely learn a lot from these sellers. But while I'm sourcing, I feel like I learn more from my competition by like seeing who's in the buy box on certain items. Like I would not, like there's no way that I could even count on my fingers how many times I'm like iffy about a product. And then I look at the buy box statistics and I see my competition in there. And I'm like, oh, this guy who's been on like the last 12 of my listings, and I know he does a similar business model to me, he's on the listing and he's consistently been on this listing for the last 6 months. So then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm buying this for sure, because like my competition who does well, like consistently tries to keep that in stock. I learned so much more from my competition just by seeing like when I'm sourcing, like, are these people that there's, for me, there's probably a good 5, 10, 15, 20 sellers who are on the same types of things as me. And they're all like slightly different. Certain ones are on certain types of things that is like a part of my business. And then there's other ones who are more so on other things. Seeing like, oh, they're selling this. It's probably something that's worth taking a second look at. We got OG, yes, sir. We got RW in the chat. I didn't really put that much into it when it was the big thing. Yeah, and it was like, I think storefront stalking is a good way to, I think if you're very, very at the beginning of your journey, I think it's a really good thing to just kind of get a gauge for like, all right, what are these people selling? What are these other people thinking about? And I think it's a really good way to find like run of the mill, pretty good products. I don't think it's the best way to find like the best products. And there's some cases where that's not true. But like back to what we were saying before, I think oftentimes, at least for me, and I think a lot of other online arbitrage sellers, like the fastest moving stuff, the most profitable stuff just absolutely flies and you're not able to get enough, whether it's there's just not enough stock on eBay or the site cancels. And so it's really hard to get a ton of quantity. And therefore it's really high ROI. Whether there's just demand off the chart and your month's worth of stock just sells in 9 days, the chances are I don't think you're going to end up seeing it. So maybe there's a case to be made for like storefront stalking people like multiple times a month. But I don't know that many people who actually do that. I definitely don't. I kind of just learned from some of my competition. My biggest competition bought me out. Sometimes it's good to be bought out. We got T Smoke saying, being new to the game, I think it gives you very good ideas at the very least. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you can go super far deep into the rabbit hole of storefront stalking. Like I spent like one afternoon storefront stalking one of my competitors, and he was just like completely into discontinued stuff. Like everything in his store was discontinued. Everything he sold in the store was slow selling. Everything he sold in his store was high ROI. And it was just interesting to see him like, that's an interesting way of doing things. And so you kind of just like take a look at what they're doing and be like, well, I don't like how slow his items are selling, but I do like the fact that it's high ROI. So maybe I can find the things that like sell fast enough and I can get enough of supply of and try to do things like that. Like I definitely only checked the store once as well. But it like takes a long time. Like they have a lot of products oftentimes. Curious about this. Andre saying, I've found some gems storefront stalking, but must really have an eye to choose which seller to invest time into. Yes, that's a whole nother point. Because there's layers to this onion, to say it like that. Oftentimes storefront stalking was just like, all right, find the first profitable thing you found and like storefront stock all those sellers. Storefront stalking does help more once you actually have an eye for like the types of items you're looking for, because like I said before, like I storefront stocked that one seller and it took me like 3-4 hours to like really dive deep into like what he was doing. And so like you can waste a lot of time if you're not storefront stalking the right person, So if you have a better like feel for the type of thing you're actually looking for, like let's say you sell like just office products or just beauty or just online arbitrage books, you can do much, much better if you storefront stock someone who not only has profitable products, that's a really good thing. And you are going to find profitable stuff if you're looking at someone who's doing profitable products, but also someone who specializes in online arbitrage books. Like if you're Joji, I don't think Joji really storefront stocks though. Case in point. but like you want to be looking at someone who does a similar thing. And I think in a few minutes, we'll take a look, and I think a lot of you guys do know how to actually do that, to actually see, you know, like what is this seller selling? And there's some stats that you can look at a really close glance. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. We got Andre saying using Keep a Finder to reverse several eBay to Amazon sellers must give you a couple good leads. Yeah, and I'm not saying it doesn't give you good leads. It's just not going to give you like the cream of the crop, the best stuff. Because, and here's another thing too, about storefront stalking, which is just why it's not the best sourcing method, because like storefront stalking, you'll find a lot of really good ASINs, but like the opportunity to buy it might have been 5 weeks ago. The opportunity to buy it might have been 8 weeks ago. And that opportunity is long gone, or it still might be there. It depends. And so you just have to look through a bunch of different products. RW in the chat is saying, I'm selling again on Amazon, but selling AI art. And now sales are picking up and great ROI. Interesting. I'll have to take a look into that. That's super interesting. AI art. So, like, are you reselling the art that other people are making, or are you, what is it, creating your own art? Or the AI is creating the art, but you're creating it because you're managing it. We got a rival in the chat. If you're only using storefront stalking 1% of the time, what would you say are the main sourcing methods I'm using? Well, number one, I've been building a replen tracker, like a replenishable list tracker, for around the last 2 years now. So anytime I purchase an item, I throw the ASIN in that tracker. Let's say I purchased something from Foot Locker, for example, I'll keep the link to that source page in the replen tracker. I also keep some stats on the items, like the relative price that it is and like how many I think I can sell per month and my stock. So I do replenish a lot of my stuff. That's maybe half of what I do at this point. And then I definitely use Flipmine some. So Flipmine's really good if you do eBay, Amazon. Also keep a product finder, like Andres was saying. Keep a product finder is good if you enter some like different criteria. Like one, for example, that I really want to do is out of stock items. Like I want to just look to see like all the items that are out of stock, but like had some demand in the past, and see if you can source those on eBay. So those two things. And then also, sometimes there'll be a really good ASIN that I like just come across, but like nothing's in stock right now. So I'll throw it up on a save search on eBay, and see if I can find it in the future. Don't sniff no buddies. Stay away in your own fresh air, guys. Don't waste your time storefront stalking. That's an aggressive take, but yes, sir. But I am gonna like throw up a page to kind of help. I think a better thing to do with storefront stalking is just be like, all right, what brands are they selling? What categories are they selling? And like get like big picture overviews of what they're doing. Andres is saying, yeah, many good ASIN storefront stalking, not necessarily to buy right now, but to be on the lookout on eBay. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way to do it. I'm going to try to throw up, I want to write a note for myself, but let's see, what's something. I'm going to share my screen in just 1 second. I want to find like a, yeah, let's see. I'm just going to search a product and pull up what is it? pull up a storefront because that's what we're talking about. And we'll actually go a little bit. I haven't really talked about this item too much before. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. After I get a nice drink of coffee. We got 11 people in the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're going to do a little bit of storefront stalking ourselves, but we're going to try to do it. We're not really, I'm just kind of showing some ideas here. So this is an item. A couple years ago, I sold quite a bit of these. I was selling them in used condition. I think you can still do it, honestly. This is probably something you'd want to, do your own prep on because you want to make sure it actually works. But you could also sell these in new condition. Let's say we want to find more items like this that are in new condition. Let's say this was our bread and butter and we just really like thermal printers in new condition. So if we hover over the buy box, we can kind of see some other sellers. So already we're seeing BTech Global. I've seen him before. There's Infotech. There is Pattern, which is an absolute monster. So I don't usually, the thing about storefront stalking too, is understanding like what's going on with their feedback. So you see Pattern here. I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can see the absolute monstrosity of how much feedback he has. 355,891. So this guy's an absolute monster. Almost everyone in the chat, I'm assuming, probably has under 1,000 feedback. This guy is massive. So people who are massive like this, almost for sure are doing some kind of wholesale and like massive, like some kind of massive deals that we're not necessarily getting, most likely. I'm sure there are some gems in his store that we could get, but I don't usually storefront stock those people. So I'm just taking a look at random stores. There's Secure Hardwares, which is also a pretty big store, but not as big. Deals Micro. So yeah, there's just a bunch of people. Probably the more efficient way to do this is look at who's on the listing right now. Of course, I'm not signed in for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in and see if I can get signed in real quick. All right, that worked out pretty quick. And then Andres is saying, hey, where's the Discord link group again? I think it's in the description of this video. I just opened my own video, so that's why it. Yeah, it's in the description of this video. It's the second link there. All right, so we were able to sign into our Seller Amp. Because a really cool feature of Seller Amp, it's not necessary, but it's helpful, is you can just see who's on the listing just like that. So like we're FBA, or at least I'm FBA. So I like to storefront stock FBA sellers. There is a pattern on this type of listing that a lot of people do FBM this, which makes sense. I think the fees are structured better for this and you have more control of the item. But for me, I like to FBA. So this is a slightly bigger seller, but we're still going to take a look at his storefront. Need a tissue. So the more valuable thing here. Yeah, so the more valuable thing here is you see his name, see the rating, see how many ASINs he has. But this is one thing that I really like to see here. We like to see all of his brands. We can learn a lot from that. We also like to see all of the categories he sells in and the breakdown of how many he sells. So this guy really likes his electronics and really likes his office products. vast majority of them are that. And so from there, you can kind of learn like, okay, like if I really like electronics and office products and probably stuff that's slightly bigger, since we just looked at a printer that is, it's only 3 pounds, but it's slightly bigger of an item. It's large standard size or something. This is probably a really good guy to storefront stock. So like, let's say I was like, like I've sold HP before and I love selling HP. Instead of storefront stocking his whole store, just click this and just take a look at all these listings. Like that's a much smarter way to storefront stock. Or if you're like, okay, like I'm really an electronics guy, I'm just going to click this and just look at his electronics only. It's a really good way to like learn about different items in a brand you're interested in. And I don't know why it doesn't show. Maybe I need to, I guess, let's say I was more curious about zebra products. Because like, let's say this was an item we were selling. We liked it. We wanted to learn more and find more items like this. If you're going to storefront stock and take the time to do so, which honestly I could be tapping more into, but I had to make a interesting title for this video that people might disagree with. I think you could search the brand. And this is stuff that I should be trying to do a little bit more myself. So I don't know why he's selling some weird zebra stuff, like some zebra costumes stuff. But this is an item I've actually seen before. This is one that is, I don't know if it was specifically this one, but it was a similar one to this, where it looked like, wow, and a lot of people came on the listing recently and the price is lower. Yeah, so I think this is one I had experience with, a similar item, and it's an item that I generally try to stay away from, although there's money there, because some of these like scanners, there's like people selling quantity listings from other countries at really low prices. And so it just kind of screams might be fake, might be counterfeit. So these types of things I try to stay away from. If I like go on eBay, and that's probably most likely what happened on here. Like it was up at like $1,100, and there's probably a source on eBay that was selling these at like $500-$600, probably from another country. So yeah, if you're able to get these for like $570 or something, that's amazing. But like this is one I've sold some stuff like this, and then I've been like, this is just like kind of sketchy because it looks counterfeit. Like let's go on eBay and see if I'm right about this. We'll just go like this. New, filter by lowest. Yeah, see, I mean, here's a 475, which is not profitable right now. This is a good example of a tanked one. But like, yeah, someone sold it like very, very low price here. Yeah, so I'm curious if maybe this is fine, but yeah, quantity, stock picture. Maybe this one is okay. But when I do see like, this isn't a good example of it. But when I see quantity from another country at way too low of a price, I get pretty suspicious. This one is tanked anyways. I just wanted to show you guys what I meant by that. But yeah, storefront stalking is a good way to like, I mean, here's another one. This one actually might be a good lead. I don't think this one has the same issues. I think I've actually seen similar stuff to this before. And this fits the bill perfectly to what this product is. It's a bigger thermal printer. This one is very much so a bigger thermal printer, high priced. This is even higher priced. These are like $400. This is like $900. Also fast moving. This is 41 pounds though. So like if you're into that type of thing, go for it. I'm curious if anyone has FBA'd these, and these were very high priced as well. And there's more and more people coming on the listing. And so the prices come down on these. But yeah, people are definitely FBAing these, which is pretty inspiring to me. So, I mean, here might be something that would be good to sell if you like high ASP. I might try it. We'll see. I'm going to take a look at the chat, though, because I haven't read anything in the last several minutes. Yeah, but I guess everyone was pretty enthralled with what was going on the screen here. But yeah, I mean, although the title of the video is Storefront Stalking is Dumb, and like it's kind of true. I think there's better ways to do things. You can learn a lot from your competition. You really can. But you have to be a little smarter about it. You don't want to just be like, let's go back to his page. You don't want to be just like, all right, we're going to storefront stock and look through like everything unsorted, like no theme. We're just going to one by one look at all 642 of these ASINs just because he had profitable products in the past. Like, no, this guy probably has a warehouse and probably has an efficient way of listing these products so that it works out for them, you know? Like you might not have a warehouse and an efficient way of listing these products FBA. So like you kind of want to find someone who's like a kindred spirit to you, someone who's doing similar things to you. So like Andre was saying, like be very specific about who you're storefront stalking. And then once you're storefront stalking them, be very specific with what you look at. Like maybe I don't give a care about Plantronics, so don't look at Plantronics. Maybe I don't care about Honeywell. Don't look at Honeywell. But like maybe I'm really interested in Dell. So we're going to take a look at Dell. And it's very, very specific here with what we're looking at. There's only 14 ASINs to look through. And if we like similar items to what we just got off on, like we literally found another item just like that, which I'm curious if there's anything profitably right here. So if we use the UPC, it's not working, but we are going to do this. And I would note this number. It might matter. This guy really sells a lot of these. Goodness. Did he sell 104 of these printers? That is, how much money is that? So this young man, Tekas, has sold 104 of these. What am I doing here? 104 of these printers for $1,100. So doing the math there, that's $114,000 in sales from this one item. All right. So lowest first here. New item. And so we obviously want the whole printer. Yeah, so the prices come down on these a lot, which we kind of already saw here. In the last year, it was up at like $2,000. and it's come down. So this is one where right now it doesn't look profitable, but we could take a quick look at the solds to see if in the last several months people have sold it at the right price. And it's not looking super good. 750 is too little on this item. And that's a lot of money, but that's horrible ROI. So yeah, we would want to be looking for patterns where this offer count is kind of reversed. We want things that are getting rarer and rarer with a lot of demand, not this up garbage. So yeah, this was kind of just the first item we looked through. So storefront stalking is good. Honestly, I should be doing it more than 1%. But definitely make sure that you're storefront stalking someone who's doing a similar item to you. LOL, check all 600 ASINs. With a fine tooth comb, just waste away, just checking all ASINs. Andre says, what's the highest ASP I've sold on Amazon? Interesting question. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if there's a quick way to check that. I mean, I guess I could just give a quick answer. I think the most expensive item I've sold is like 1,500 in revenue. I'm just pulling up my ASIN profitability to see if there's a quick way to check that. Revenue. I'm filtering it by revenue. Oh, actually, around a month ago, I sold a big printer that was new in box that I got from an estate sale for $1,300. So that was amazing. I FBA'd that too. So definitely $1,300 is high. My inventory lab's just being slow, and I'm trying to just get a quick answer. I think I sold the brand was Fluke. I think it was like a really high priced Fluke. I sold a couple of those for 1,300. Yeah. So probably 1,300 is probably my highest priced item. We got Simple Channel. I found storefront stalking leads tend to tank pretty hard. Yeah. Especially for regular online arbitrage, because if there's literally a static link that literally always has it in stock, and it makes money, why would it not tank? People are just gonna run that to the ground, of course. And probably last question today, why would you recommend eBay to Amazon and not Amazon to eBay or Shopify? Number one, because Amazon has 10 times the customers eBay or Spotify or Shopify. So it just makes more sense to take things from where there's less demand. Am I getting that right? Less demand. Yeah, there's less demand for products on eBay because there's less customers there. But there's more demand for products on Amazon because there's more customers there. And so oftentimes that drives the price up. So that just makes sense. I'm not saying you can't do Amazon to eBay and Amazon to Shopify. It's just not my business model. I mean, I really try as hard as I can to not be Mr. Shiny Object Syndrome. I really want to have one business model, get extremely good at that business model, and freaking focus. I don't have time to do eBay to Amazon and Amazon to eBay, and then also run a social media, and then also flip houses, and then also flip NFTs, and then do other things. I need to be really good at one thing, and that's where the money is. So not saying they don't work. like regardless, I want to get really good at something and just like stick to it. And eBay to Amazon has worked for me. And then also for all of these things, each single one, you have to have an infrastructure of like what's going on in order to like make things work. Like I have a very specific like way of processing items, eBay to Amazon. Like so much so that I hardly even buy items from Poshmark or Mercari when there's good items there, because like my virtual assistant has my logins to my eBay. She enters the items into the prep center and she just does that every day. But like if she has to like go into Poshmark and Mercari, it just slows things down. So like even in this niche of a niche, eBay to Amazon, I literally stick to eBay to Amazon 99% of the time. T-Smoke says, did you ever use a leads list? I did around 2 years ago. Best way to use a leads list, in my opinion, is don't buy the stuff that they have, but like buy different colors, different sizes, different quantities, different ounces of stuff, because it gives you really good ideas of source sites and like good ASINs to sell on. Like, especially if you can get deep into the variations of similar stuff, that's really good because it oftentimes is sold at the same store, you know? So you have two sides right there that you can put together. But yeah, thank you guys for getting on. If you guys want to be more connected, we have a free Discord group down in the description below. We have this guy's in there, always helping me out as well. We have T-Smoke's in there. He's like right here. We were literally just talking today and I learned something new about stock photo purchasing from eBay to Amazon. We got a good friend, like a lot of good friends of mine are in there. We just talk online arbitrage all the time. So it's free. Come join, come hang out. Without further ado, have a great rest of the day. Take care.